Alright, so you tuck yourself into bed, pull up the covers, maybe you read a chapter of a book you'll never finish, and you think, ah, sweet, blissful rest. You think you're peacefully resting? Wrong. Turns out your body has other plans. Big plans. Plans that involve turning your peaceful slumber into a biological Cirque du Soleil. But like, if all the acrobats were drunk and performing experimental theater, it's a whole secret life happening while your conscious brain is off somewhere dreaming about finally cleaning out the garage or, I don't know, talking squirrels. You see, while you're off in dreamland, thinking you're just recharging your batteries, your body is throwing an absolute rager. Sleep is a nightly biological rave where your body goes full chaos mode without your permission. It's like your organs and systems wait for you to pass out and then they're like, all right, he's down, let's get weird. Your muscles are twitching, your brain is cleaning house like a hyperactive Roomba, and your hormones are doing the Macarena. It's a madhouse in there, folks. And the best part, you're completely oblivious. You wake up, maybe a little groggy, thinking, man, I slept like a log. Little do you know, that log was actually the main float in a very strange, very complex parade that happens every single night inside your own skin. So tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on this nightly carnival of craziness. Get ready, because what your body does while you're resting is wilder than anything you've seen on reality TV, and that's saying something. So picture this. You're having one of those dreams. You know the kind. You're being chased by something terrifying. Maybe it's a bear, maybe it's your old gym teacher, maybe it's a giant sentient tax form, and you try to run or fight or even just scream, but you're stuck. You can't move a muscle. It's like you're wading through invisible cement. Well, congratulations. That's not just a dream quirk. That's your brain doing its job. A little too well sometimes. It's called REM atonia. Your brain literally hits the emergency brake on your muscles so you don't start acting out your dreams, which, you know, is generally a good thing. Nobody wants to wake up having actually tried to fly off the balcony because they dreamt they were Superman. But here's where it gets a little dicey, a little Amityville horror. Sometimes your brain forgets to tell your body the all clear when your eyes pop open. So you're lying there, awake, but completely paralyzed. And because your brain is still half in dream mode, it starts conjuring up all sorts of fun things, like a shadowy figure in the corner of your room, or the distinct feeling that something heavy is sitting on your chest. That's sleep paralysis, folks. It's your brain essentially pranking you with temporary full-body lockdown and a side of existential dread. 0 out of 10 would not recommend. It's like your body's bouncer is a little too enthusiastic about keeping you still. You ever wake up feeling, I don't know, mentally refreshed, like your brain just got back from a spa day? Well, there's a reason for that. And it's not just because you finally stopped thinking about that awkward thing you said in 2007. While you're snoozing, your brain isn't just idly dreaming about winning the lottery or finally understanding how cryptocurrency works. No, it's actually rolling up its tiny brain sleeves and doing some serious deep cleaning. It's like a tiny, highly efficient cleaning crew gets to work, armed with microscopic mops and buckets. This whole operation is called the glymphatic system. Fancy name, right? Sounds like a new luxury car. This system basically flushes out all the junk that accumulates in your brain during the day. Think of it like this. Your brain cells are having a massive party all day long, thinking, processing, worrying about deadlines, and like any good party, it leaves a mess. We're talking metabolic byproducts, toxins, the mental equivalent of stale pizza crusts and empty beer cans. So when you go to sleep, the glymphatic system kicks in and power washes your brain, clearing out all that waste. So yes, when people say they need to clear their head, sleep is literally doing that. It's brainwashing, but the good kind. The kind that doesn't involve a cult, just a really effective internal janitorial staff. Now, we've talked about your brain paralyzing you so you act out your dreams. But sometimes, the wires get crossed. Sometimes, your subconscious decides, you know what? I'm taking the wheel, and I'm gonna make this weird. This is where we get into the wonderful world of sleepwalking, sleep talking, and even, get this, sleep cooking or sleep driving. Yes, some people apparently turn into Michelin star chefs or unlicensed Uber drivers at 3 a.m., all while completely zonked out. Imagine waking up to find you've not only made a 7-course meal, but also rearranged all the furniture in your living room to resemble Stonehenge. It's like your conscious mind clocks out for the night, but a mischievous intern in your subconscious takes over the controls and just starts pressing buttons. What does do? And suddenly you're up, wandering around, having a full-blown conversation with the ficus plant in your hallway, or trying to pay for groceries with your library card. Your family might find it hilarious or terrifying, depending on whether you're just muttering about aliens or attempting to operate heavy machinery. It's a stark reminder that even when you think you're off duty, a part of your brain is still up, and it's got some very strange ideas about what constitutes nighttime activities. the 90-minute coma coaster you ride all night. You might think sleep is like, flipping an off switch. You close your eyes, everything goes dark and quiet, and then you wake up. Simple, right? Oh, if only. Sleep isn't one long, boring blackout. It's more like a roller coaster. A very specific, very scheduled roller coaster that your brain insists on riding every single night, multiple times. You go through these cycles, each lasting about 90 minutes, and they're a whole journey in themselves. You drift from light sleep into deep sleep, and then the main event, REM sleep, rapid eye movement. That's when things get really wild. Every 90 minutes or so, you plunge into this REM stage. This is where most of your vivid dreaming happens, where your brain activity actually ramps up. And as we discussed, your body goes limp like a forgotten marionette. Then, just as you're really getting into that dream where you can fly or you're best friends with a celebrity, your brain yanks you back out of it, maybe into a lighter sleep stage, or even briefly waking you up without you noticing. And then it's like, all right, that was fun. Let's do it all over again. And this time, maybe add more dragons, or perhaps a subplot about misplaced car keys. It's a constant cycle of dipping into these mini comas and being pulled back all night long. Your brain, the night watchman who hears everything, except your alarm. Ever notice how you can sleep through a thunderstorm, the neighbor's dog barking its head off, maybe even your partner's snoring that sounds like a walrus fighting a lawnmower? But the second someone whispers your name, your eyes snap open? Or how about this classic? You can set 7 different alarms, each one louder than a space shuttle launch, and somehow sleep right through them like you're hibernating for the winter. Yet, if your baby makes the tiniest whimper from the next room, you're up like a shot. What's the deal with that? It's because even when you're deep in dreamland, your brain isn't completely checked out. It's like there's a tiny, highly selective security guard on duty in your head. This guard is constantly monitoring the sounds around you, even in deep sleep. It's saying, shh, what was that? Was that the fridge cycling on? Or is it a saber-toothed tiger trying to get in? Or worse, a clown with a banjo? Your brain is pretty good at filtering out familiar, non-threatening noises, but it's hardwired to pay attention to things that might be important, like your name or a sudden unusual sound, which explains why you can wake up to a specific, meaningful sound but completely ignore the blaring cacophony of your alarm clock, which your brain has apparently decided is just part of the nightly, ignorable background noise. The night sweats, your body's personal sauna and horror show detox. All right, let's talk about something a little damp. You ever wake up in the middle of the night or in the morning feeling like you've just run a marathon in a sauna? Your pajamas are sticking to you, the sheets are kind of clammy, and you're wondering if you accidentally left the heating on full blast or if you're coming down with something. Well, chances are it's just your body doing its nightly cool down and detox routine. It's not always pretty, but it's part of the package. Your body temperature actually drops when you sleep. It's part of the whole process of conserving energy and helping you rest. And as your body cools down, one of the ways it regulates temperature and gets rid of some waste products is, you guessed it, by sweating. So you're not necessarily having a fever dream about being trapped in a Bikram yoga class. You're just perspiring. Now, if you combine this natural process with, say, a particularly terrifying nightmare, the one where you're unprepared for a final exam you didn't even know you had, you might wake up absolutely drenched in what can only be described as fear water. So if that happens, congratulations. That wasn't just a bad dream, it was the premiere of your body's own personal horror movie, complete with special sweat effects. You know those dreams that are just weirdly emotional? Like, you have a full-blown argument with your best friend about a sandwich? Or you relive an embarrassing moment from high school with excruciating detail? Or you suddenly feel an overwhelming sense of joy because you found a parking spot right in front of the store. And then you wake up, and those feelings linger. You might even be mad at your perfectly innocent mom for something Dream Mom did, and she's just standing there, making coffee, completely baffled. Well, it turns out your brain might be using Dreamtime as a sort of emotional rehearsal studio. Think of it as your brain running simulations. It's like, okay, let's practice feeling angry in a low-stakes environment, or let's process this grief without actually having to deal with it in waking life right now. It's a safe space to explore and manage emotions, almost like your own built-in therapist who works exclusively the night shift and communicates through bizarre symbolic narratives. So yes, your dreams are not just random nonsense, though let's be honest, a lot of them are. They can be a mix of theater, therapy, and sometimes just pure, unadulterated emotional chaos. Your brain is basically workshopping its feelings, and you're the star of the show, whether you like it or not. The hypnic jerk, your body's just kidding. Fall, this one I bet almost everyone has experienced. You're just drifting off to sleep. That lovely moment when you're hovering between wakefulness and dreamland. You're relaxed, you're comfortable, maybe you're thinking about what you'll have for breakfast. And then, bam! Suddenly, you get this intense sensation like you're falling or you trip over something and your whole body jolts awake. Your heart might be pounding, you're a little disoriented, and you're thinking, what in the world was that? That, my friends, is called a hypnic jerk, or a sleep start if you prefer. It's that sudden, involuntary muscle twitch that yanks you right out of the cozy embrace of oncoming sleep. And the funny thing is, science still isn't 100% sure why it happens. One theory is that it's an ancient primate reflex. As your muscles relax, your brain misinterprets it as you falling out of a tree, so it jerks you awake to save you. Thanks, brain. Very helpful when I'm safely in my bed. Another idea is it's just a misfire as your nervous system transitions into sleep mode. Or, and this is my personal theory, maybe it's just your body's way of pranking you one last time before you're completely unconscious. Haha, thought you were gonna sleep, huh? Psych! Your brain throws a rager, while the rest of you naps. You'd think that when you go to sleep, your brain would, take a break too. Dim the lights, quiet down, maybe do some light filing, but no, that is not what happens. In fact, during certain stages of sleep, particularly REM sleep, that's the dream-heavy part we talked about. Your brain is actually more active than when you're awake and trying to figure out your taxes or assemble IKEA furniture. That's right. While your body is lying there like a sack of potatoes, your brain is upstairs throwing a massive party, lights flashing, music blasting, the whole 9 yards. It lights up like a Christmas tree that's had way too much espresso. Neurons are firing like crazy, creating those vivid, bizarre, and sometimes completely nonsensical dreamscapes. This intense brain activity is thought to be crucial for things like memory consolidation, sorting through the day's experiences and deciding what to keep and what to toss, and learning. So, that dream where you were riding a unicycle, juggling flaming torches while simultaneously debating philosophy with a talking badger? That wasn't just your brain being weird for the sake of it. It was your brain being incredibly busy, processing information in its own unique, spectacular, and often hilarious way. Dream amnesia, the case of the vanishing unicorn wizard. Okay, so your brain goes to all this trouble to create these incredibly elaborate, vivid, sometimes Oscar-worthy dream productions every night. You're the star, the director, the audience, all rolled into one. You might have just solved a cosmic mystery, or had a profound conversation with a long-lost pet, or maybe you were a wizard who rode a unicorn with Beyoncé to a taco truck. Epic stuff, right? You wake up, and for a glorious few seconds, it's all there, crystal clear. And then, poof, it starts to fade. Fast. It's like trying to hold on to smoke. Within just 5 minutes of waking up, you typically forget about 50% of your dream. Give it 10 minutes, and almost all of it is gone, vanished into the ether. You're left with these vague fragments like, I think there was a boat, and maybe something about cheese. And was I wearing pants? Scientists think this rapid forgetting might be because the brain chemicals associated with memory formation are less active during REM sleep, or maybe it's to prevent dream memories from getting mixed up with real-life memories, which is probably for the best. Otherwise, we'd all be convinced we actually can fly, or that our boss is secretly a lizard person. Outro. So, there you have it. While you thought you were just getting some shut-eye, your body was basically running a marathon, a cleaning service, and a very strange off-Broadway play, all at the same time. Sleep isn't rest. It's nightly survival theater, complete with paralysis to keep you from acting out your wildest subconscious scripts, hallucinations that make you question reality, emotional simulations that feel like therapy sessions gone rogue, and internal janitors working overtime to scrub your brain clean. It's a full-blown production every single night. You're not just sleeping. You're basically rebooting like a glitchy robot that has some seriously weird dreams programmed into its system. Your body is going through more drama and action sequences than a summer blockbuster, all while you're blissfully unaware, probably drooling on your pillow. It's a complex, chaotic, and utterly fascinating process that we're still trying to fully understand. But one thing's for sure, sleeping like a baby is a massive understatement for the biological acrobatics your body performs. Next time you crawl into bed, just remember the absolute carnival of activity that's about to kick off inside you. And maybe, just maybe, you'll have a little more appreciation for that feeling of waking up relatively intact, or at least with no unexplained toast in the bathtub. Thanks for watching, folks. Now go get some rest, if you can even call it that anymore. Sleep tight and try not to think about the tiny mops.